everyone. I hope you're all doing wonderful. My name is Marcello Kolax, and I am the managing director at Clever Markets. And as always, I am walking you on this Monday through the energy charts. Anything that's relevant for the week starting 21st of October 2024, we're going to talk about it. Okay, so as always, we are starting with a little bit of a market overview. So if the sentiment and the charts are aligned, then there's a good chance for the market to continue. But that also means that if we were to break past an important resistance level, a lot of traders would be caught on the wrong side of the market, which could then lead to an explosive move higher. I don't see that happening right now, but it's definitely something to be aware of. So here we are seeing on the TTF and NBP front months that we have been pushing higher, but now we are in this sideways range, also called a pennant. And pennants traditionally resolve to the upside, so they're usually continuing the steep uptrend that we have here, but we are getting some indication that this might not happen. So we'll talk about that in just a second. We're also seeing that the TTF and NBP front season products are also moving into these increasingly tighter ranges. On the German power market, we see that we pushed below an important 61.8% FIB retracement, which was around here, and now the market is simply pushing lower. So the next important support level is the 83.9 for us to take. On the European carbon emission certificates, we see that overall the flow of lower lows and lower highs is maintained. So yeah, we are probably bearish. That is a change from the bullishness we saw, was it 2 weeks ago, when we had these few days of strong gains. So all of this is now being undone, and the market is settling back into more losses towards the 60 region. Brent overall pretty interesting. We are pushing lower and lower and lower. So even after last week's intermittent sideways period, the bears are still in charge overall. Coal, quite interesting. We are in a triangle here, so I'll not talk about too much. I will not go into too much detail here, but you can see we are getting the lower peaks and the higher troughs, which is pushing the market into an increasingly tighter range. Then on the Henry Hub, just bearishness. There's not much to say here. We are probably approaching the $2 per MMBTU. That is definitely possible. And JKM, after a big spike, now we are coming off again. I predict that we could move a little bit more sideways on the JKM there. So let's look at the details. We are, as always, starting with the TTF front month product, where we see that the market overall on the weekly chart is still bullish within the ascending channel, but we have not moved past the peak in the, was it like 40, 41 region for quite some time. So we are making a second peak either below the most recent peak, or if you want to exclude the long wick, then we are on par with where we were in early mid-August. So that's kind of worrying. We're also seeing that we have we could almost, not quite, call this a hanging man, not quite, but we do have a bearish harami pattern here. This here would be more in line with some sort of hanging man pattern. And here we have a shooting star. All of these candle patterns are showing us that the market is ready to push lower. However, we are prevented from any sort of like bearish outlook on the weekly chart because we are still bullish within the channel. But here, pay attention. We are seeing that the stochastic are making lower peaks and lower troughs. So overall, looking pretty bearish to me, even if the momentum tools are still bullish, but they're lagging behind anyway most of the time. So in the daily chart, we see the channel happening here as well, right? It's the same channel, but also we are dealing with a pennant here. And usually by textbook, these pennants would resolve to the upside. So traditionally, we would expect something like this. And the first sign of the pennant working out for the bulls would mean that we are pushing above, let's say, what is this, 40.8. Yeah, if you want to play it safe, then maybe above 41.18, and then we would replicate this up leg here. We just apply this length and push it up here. But for now, I don't really see that happening, because we see that the MACD is obviously making a lower peak, and we're also seeing that the stochastic gave a very firm bearish signal. Yes, of course, some loss of upside momentum is expected in the pennant, but not that strongly. So that's why, and also, by the way, we did close zooming in, no matter, depending on where you want to draw the pennant, right? But we kind of did get one close below it. So if you want to wait this out, like if we get a second close below the pennant, or if we move below 38.85, then yeah, probably the bears are in charge towards 36.5, which is the channel support. On the hourly chart, we have this complex head and shoulders pattern still playing out. We have the left shoulder here, we've got the head there, and we've got the right shoulder there. And you can see the right shoulder is kind of also a mini triangle, yeah, that is being probably resolved to the downside now. And we need to see a close below the 38 neckline before getting a bearish target here.